I wish someone would have given me sound financial advice when I was 18 years old so I could be financially stable sooner. So today, I'm going to share my top 7 tips for all 18-year-olds, recent college graduates, or young professionals to become financially stable as soon as possible. Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking back on my channel. My name is Alvy Macias, and without further ado, let's get into today's 7 tips for all 18-year-olds. Okay, so tip number 1 is to have a checking and a savings account. You pretty much need a checking account for almost anything you do nowadays, especially in our modern world. This would be in the form of direct deposits. You need a debit card to buy items anywhere. And with the convenience of bill pay is only linkable to a checking account. So you need to have that in order to be able to access that feature of most checking accounts. You also need to have a separate savings account because that's going to make sure that you can separate the accounts out, and then you know exactly what's your everyday money and then what you are setting aside for your savings in particular. It gets really fuzzy when you have all of your money in your checking account and you constantly swipe your card, and it's not easily noticeable to you when you do in fact spend a lot of money. And that's why I recommend having a savings account separately from your checking account. Now, this does mean that you can go to a bank and open up 2 separate accounts. You don't need to have 2 separate accounts at 2 different banks. I would just always recommend a regular checking and a regular savings account. Tip number 2 is to not use overdraft protections. Overdraft protections are a way for your 2 bank accounts, your checking and your savings account, to be linked to your debit card. So if you make a charge for $100 and you only have $90 in your checking and $100 in your savings, the debit transaction will pull the $10 from your savings account to cover that difference. The reason I tell most people I meet not to initiate that overdraft protection is because this will force you to make sure that money is in your checking account and not just count on the overdraft to cover that charge. If you do not have overdraft protections, then the debit transaction will be denied and then you will not be able to make that purchase. Tip number 3 is to get a credit card and then pay it off every single month in full. The main reason for this is because you want to start building your credit early and initiate those good habits of using your credit card to build your credit history, but then also showing you're responsible by paying it off every single month in full. If you want to learn a little bit more about building credit and how I personally was able to work my way up to a 790 credit score, then take a look at the video up here in the cards. You also want to make sure you pay off your credit card every single month in order to avoid paying interest on your credit card. Any interest that you pay on a credit card is a penalty, and it is going to negate any sign-up bonus, any cash back, or any other bonuses that credit card companies use to lure you in. So make sure you pay off your credit card every single month in full. Tip number 4 is to earn as much income as you possibly can. This looks like a bunch of different things to a lot of different folks, but some of the main generators to help build your income are going to be working overtime, driving for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, or any of those other app type services, in addition to your regular job, or if you do that as a full-time job, then doing them for multiple different companies. And the last way is to start a side business or a side hustle that will become part of your normal 9-to-5 and also create a little bit more income in a different avenue. This will really help you be able to grow your income as quickly as possible, and the amount of time that you work on a side business or working over 40 hours a week is going to pay dividends to you, especially in your younger years. Tip number 5 is to live below your means. This can look like having roommates for your housing, Moving back in with your parents is also a viable option if you have the ability to do so. And making sure that you're not buying super luxurious items like Louis Vuitton bags or a really fancy sports car just because you deserve it. It's really easy to get sucked into that lifestyle inflation where you believe that because you're making a little bit more income, then you need to go out and buy a super nice car. You need to now have a nicer bag to showcase all your hard work. Yes, I think it is very necessary to buy yourself nice things because you want to. However, I don't think it's necessary that just because you get a higher income or a raise or get a different job that pays you more, that is an excuse to go out and spend a lot of money on things that perhaps can be pushed off, or you can save for and buy in cash and not have to use a credit card. If you're getting value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and comment down below what tip do you think is the most important to know and share with anyone that is a young person in your life. Tip number 6 is to pay off and avoid debt at all costs. These are your student loans. Any and all car payments you should try to avoid and just never have a car payment in your life. And lastly, credit card interest. Again, credit card interest is a penalty that you pay and will negate any intro bonus or sign up bonus that you get when you get a new credit card. Pay it off every single month and you'll never have to pay any interest. And lastly, but certainly not least, tip number 7 is to invest for your retirement. This is going to be Roth IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, and also real estate. The sooner you begin investing in your retirement, the more money you're gonna have when you're 50, 60, 70 years old, and you're going to thank yourself because you started saving and investing for retirement early. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to learn more about credit and credit building tips, then click on the screen right now to watch that playlist. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.